Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal, and there are plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money. But how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at to help you navigate through this maze? We have Hemant Ustigi, Wise Invest. Also, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. You can also email us your queries on the Money Show at etnow.tv. Good evening, Hemant, and welcome to the Money Show. And we also have our first viewer connected on the phone line, Madhu. Hi, Madhu.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how are you doing? From where are you calling?
I'm doing good, thanks. And hi, sir. I'm calling from Chennai.
Chennai. Okay. So, Madhu, you've been investing in mutual funds since 2018, huh? That's nice.
Yeah.
SIP of 66,000. So, gradually you've increased the amount?
Yes.
You started from 20K. Okay.
I started with 20,000.
Okay.
I have increased it gradually with every year. Once I finished my home loan, I diverted all the additional funds also to this. So that's how I managed to come up to 66 at the moment.
Okay. So what's the fear about small caps that you have?
No, it is not. I'm not doing it directly. I'm doing it through a distributor. And what they have done is they've recently just closed some of these small caps and then moved everything to arbitrage. Like they have a UTI Bank arbitrage and then Sundaram arbitrage. After closing the Sundaram small cap funds, when I looked at the returns of those, they seem to be very, very different. Like the small cap funds are giving very high returns and the arbitrage are like very, very low returns when compared to those. So I'm a bit concerned that, whether is it a good move or should I actually go back to the small caps at the moment. I do not know the reason as to why it hasn't done. Is it because they anticipate the market to go down or something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice,
but it only seems to be going up.
Yeah, for now. But you just never know, markets are very unpredictable. But then having said that, you're an investor and I believe your time horizon is also long term?
Yes, long term.
Long term. Okay. It's very interesting to know an investor like you who's so involved and who's really keen on knowing actually what's going on behind their investment or the working of a mutual fund. So let's deep dive into this. Hemant, over to you.
Well, Kavita, I think it's good to see that Madhu has been investing the last 5 years and he's increased in his SIP over the last 5 years. And I think that's very, very important because many a times you start SIP with low increased amounts. I think he's doing a great job. You see, one of the basic reasons why we invest through SIP is that we want to follow a disciplined investment process. It brings discipline in our saving process, investment process. And I think the key is not to kind of, keep making changes depending on the market mood. I mean, I can understand the fear that, whosoever advise you for that you may see some correction. But correction is something which is a natural phenomenon in the marketplace. Mid cap, small cap have seen a great run-up. But there is nothing to say that the run-up will not continue. Maybe you will not get the kind of return you got in the past. The fact that we're talking about, we are at a scenario where the interest rates will go down, economy is doing well. I have no reason to doubt that why these segments will not do well. So I think it never pays to tinker with or rebalancing your portfolio just to time the market. And I think it's important to understand that the arbitrage fund are meant for parking of funds for some time. Okay, whereas obviously when you invest in a small cap, it's to be invested for the longer term. But the key here is that if you're very sure, because considering the fact that small cap segment is an aggressive segment, of course it has the potential to give you the best return among all the return, but it can be very volatile. As long as you have clarity in terms of that the allocation that you have for the small cap is not very aggressive within the overall investment of 66,000, I think there is no reason for you to kind of stop that and then try to time it and then restart when the market goes down. I don't think that's the right strategy. If you're not very sure about how to rebalance or how to allocate, money to different segments of the market, you can even consider looking at multi-cap funds. The multi-cap funds are the fund where minimum 25% is invested in all the three segments. They have to maintain that. I think that's one way to ensure that you remain invested in all three. But my view is if allocation to small cap is not very aggressive, I think you should continue.
That's the word coming in. Madhu, anything else you want to ask Hemant, sir?
Yes. Can I ask just
Sure.
one clarity in this?
Yeah, sure.
See, basically, mine is goal-based investing. So I'm saving for my daughter's education and then marriage and all that. So that is why I think I'm not doing it directly. I'm doing it through a distributor. And the reason that they say this is for capital protection, that they are moving to arbitrage, and that is small caps. They have some fear, and that's why they are moving it. So I'm not doing it directly, so that's the point. And it is currently being done in 6 different ones. So is capital protection, is it actually time for capital protection? Because I see that the market is going only one way. So should I actually ride the wave or look at capital protection at the moment? That's all.
How far is the goal?
Around one is immediate, like next year, the college education, and after that marriage, maybe about 7 years, 6 to 7 years.
Okay, yeah. So I think you need to act for your next year goal. Hemant?
No, I think then the obviously situation changes completely. Clearly, we did discuss about whether the intention to remain invested for the longer term. What I mentioned earlier was obviously with looking at that scenario. But if the money is required and this investment in the small cap was linked to that goal, obviously we always recommend that when you're about to complete your time horizon for a particular goal, at least a year or year and a half before that, you start kind of reducing your exposure to equity, not only in terms of segment, but equity. Yes, in that case, I think moving to arbitrage is a good decision, but you need to be very sure that money that you've taken out or moved into arbitrage was linked to that goal or not. That's why we always recommend that you should have, instead of having a pool, you should actually have a goal-wise portfolio, which can be tracked and then the asset allocation can be looked at. So if the intent is to protect the gains that you have made because the money is required next year, then I think it's fine. But then why only small cap? You need to kind of then look at your exposure to equity per se, not only one particular segment.
All right. All the best, Madhu, with all the goals coming up and your investment strategies. Thank you for sending us your question. Hemant, we move on and let's take Rajesh's question. And he wants to invest 50 lakhs in mutual funds and he wants to know the best funds for his portfolio and he wants to invest for a minimum of 5 years.
Well, I think it's good to know that his time horizon is minimum 5 years. I think it always helps to know what is the maximum period for which one can stay invested, because that can make a huge difference. If it is, let's say, 10 years, that 5 year can make a huge difference in terms of deciding what kind of asset allocation should be there. But considering the fact that he has said minimum is 5 years and assuming that he will have some flexibility in the time horizon, maybe looking at 7 to 8 years. In that case, I would recommend a mix of aggressive hybrid funds and equity fund. Those equity funds which are primarily focusing on large cap and maybe good exposure to even mid cap, but definitely not looking at multi cap or a small cap as a category. So in that case, I would recommend maybe investing in 5 funds, 10 lakh each, 2 hybrid funds. One is Kotak Equity Hybrid Fund and ICICI True Equity and Debt, and the 3 funds, one equity fund, well diversified, which is one is Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, where you can invest 10 lakh. And then there is HDFC Mid Cap, Large and Mid Cap, or Motilal Large and Mid Cap. One of these he can look at, or maybe look at both of these, because like I mentioned, the focus should be primarily on large and mid. So HDFC Large and Mid and Motilal also Large and Mid. These 5 funds. Issue would be obviously whether he should invest as lump sum or stagger it over a period of time. My view is that if the time horizon is 7 to 8 years, considering that we don't see on the horizon any negative, thing coming up, barring some geopolitical issues, or because there are a lot of things which have to happen in the next few months, he can invest even lump sum. But of course, only if, like I said, there is a flexibility in terms of time horizon that can remain invested for another couple of years.
I think that will be all. Thank you so much, Hemant, for being on the show and helping our viewers with their portfolio queries today. And with that, it's a wrap on the Money Show as well. But I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and our email ID, where you can reach us and send us your portfolio queries and we can get them answered by our expert. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.